Okay, we are on yet again the next part of this book. It looks like we're getting a little bit like halfway there at least. So, making pretty steady progress. Um, we left off right here where it's talking about the 18th dynasty, and I said I was going to do some research, and I actually did. I ran out of like Gemini Pro that morning that I was trying to use it, and I had to wait a little bit to use it again. So I'm gonna try. Let's see. Let me scroll down here. So I think it was this one. So I did some translating for I did. I think I did that one, and I think that was it. Okay, so let me start right here. So it says this was a translation of what was it? Oh, I was translating the Phoenician shepherds. So this is what it says on that line where I first found the word of the Phoenician shepherds, and then it was just giving me some context saying that the Phoenicians was like not mistranslation, but a misidentification of the people in those lands. Um, they were supposed to be like people in like I guess just kind of like in the I guess like in the Levant, right? So like in all of those lands. But I mean the Phoenicians, they're Semitic speaking peoples too. It's just I don't know. I guess they just had the wrong name for them at the time, whatever. And then there was also did I translate this one? Okay, we'll look at that one in a second. But before I get to that one, I wanted to talk about some of the Hellenistic stuff. I don't think I did it in this one because I ran out. But the Hellenistic stuff was basically what I was talking about in the last video, which is like kind of like that whole like Greece kind of land and stuff like that. So it could have been people that were like more in like Turkey, but I don't really know. Like to say that there were Greek rulers in Egypt before like the Macedonians, before like any of the what are they called, like classical Greeks, because the what is it? I think the classical Greeks come before I think Alexander. Alexander comes later at a later time period, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember exactly. No, I got them mixed up and I can't remember which to put where. I'm pretty sure it was afterwards, because once the Persians would have had some influence. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, that's what I wanted to go on about that. So it's just really interesting to think about, like, you know, where can we find more information about like these Greek kings or Hellenistic kings that came into Egypt. Really, really, really curious. Like just to even put that out there. And again, this is from Manetho. This is the Old Egyptian Chronicle. So I mean, we found out in this book previously that like some of the stuff that was said like turned out to be like in crazy true, because there was other documents that were found later on, like thousands of years later, after what people had started saying in these lands. It's like there were all these like things being like discovered in like these libraries and whatnot. It's crazy. Really, really crazy. Ashurbanipal's library is probably one of the craziest things that's ever been discovered on this entire planet. And it's like, just, you know, everybody just looks at the pyramids, but it's like, you know, there's other stuff out there that's just insane as well. So this is something I also translated, and I wanted to know what it was talking about, what it was saying, like Asia and stuff like that. So this was the translation from where they were talking about how one of the kings, so I guess Sesostris, and how he was like putting all these phallic structures all over the lands, and he ruled all of Asia and stuff like that, and was a great, I guess, ruler. But I never I never looked into all this. Like Sesostris, and like it did this whole like influence that he had in I guess like in Asia Minor. Today it's called Asia Minor, but it also gave me like some ad libs over here about like Asia Minor and stuff like that. So he was saying that like it was just like really not the whole of Asia. It was really just parts of Asia that like I guess what they knew about, because this is a Greek translation. So yeah, and then I asked it here. Yeah, so this is what they're using, pretty much. So enough of that. Let's go ahead and continue because we gotta get into a lot of stuff as well. So, the 18th dynasty of 16 Diospolite kings, Amos, whose time Moses went out of Egypt, as we shall demonstrate. Shebros 13 years, Amenophis 24 years, Amershus 22 years, Misphris 13 years, Fragmathosis 26 years, in whose time happened the deluge of Deucalion, Deucalion. Thutmosis 9 years, Amenophis 31 years. He is supposed to be Memnon, to whom the musical statue is erected. Horus 37 years, Asherhes 32 years, Rathos 6 years. And then there's all that translation stuff like that. Shebris 12 years, Asherhes 12 years, Armesis 5 years, Ramses 1 year, Amenophath 19 years, altogether 263 years. Okay, hold on. So we have, I think, Ramses 1 year. So I'm gonna look up right now. When did Ramses rule, and for how long? I think there's like a few Ramses, but this might be the first Ramses. But let's see what it gives us, because it looks like down here from the 19th dynasty we have 7 Diospolite kings again, right? We have Sethos reigned 51 years, Rapsashis 61 years, Amenethes 20 years, and Ramses 60 years. Dang, holy crap. That's crazy. The name Ramses, also spelled Ramses, was used by 11 pharaohs, but the most famous, powerful ruler was Ramses II, right? Yeah, that was the one. That was, I think, let's see here. He was, I thought he was known for like ruling like in the Bible or something like that. Like he was mentioned in the Bible. It'll probably go into that. He's one of the most celebrated pharaohs, known for his military prowess and colossal building projects. The Battle of Kadesh, fought against the Hittites. The monumental buildings, he commissioned countless temples and monuments, including the great temple of Abu Simbel, with its 4 massive seated statues of himself, and the Ramesseum, his mortuary temple. Okay, well, okay, Ramses III, the second most significant, considered the pharaoh of the New Kingdom. Okay, so this happened later in the New Kingdom period. So 1292 to 1290 seems to be this first one, right? And then the second one right here is 60 years, which, oop, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Let's see here. The second, right? No, what the heck? Where's the? Okay, we'll just go to the fourth or the second. So, yeah, 66 years. And I misclicked it, but that's okay. We're going to keep going down anyways. So, Amenes, 5 years. Thorus, who is called by Homer Polybus, the husband of Alcandra, under whose reign Ilion was taken, 7 years. Altogether 209 years. And this second book of Manetho contained 96 kings and 2,121 years. Okay. Thank you for that. The third book of Manetho, the 20th dynasty, of 12 Diospolite kings who reigned 135 years. The 21st dynasty was of 7 Tanite kings. Smendes reigned 26 years. Susenes 46 years. Nepheclares 4 years. Amenophis 9 years. Also Shor 6 years. Sinaches 9 years. Susenes 14 years, altogether 130 years. The 22nd dynasty of 9 Bubastide kings. Sesnonches 21 years, Osorthon 15 years. 3, 4, 5, 3 others reigned 25 years. Doesn't name them. Taselothus 13 years. 7, 8, 9, 3 others 42 years, altogether reigned 124, or 120 years. The 23rd dynasty was of 4 Tanite kings. Petudobades reigned 40 years. In his time the Olympiads began. Olsorsho 8 years, whom the Egyptians called Hercules. Okay, that's interesting. And then Isoscenes. Oh no, wait, no, that's in sorry, that's all the Samus 10 years. Zete 31 years, altogether 28 years for the 23rd dynasty. Okay. So before we get into this, I know I said I was gonna get into maybe some of the some of the connections between the Old Testament and this book and what it's saying, but for the most part, I think this book kind of just points out not too much detail and just kind of gives the king's list. Now there is a what is it called? The author's what word he used, the dissertation or something like that. So it's using his dissertation for all this stuff. So he might mention what some of this stuff is in relation to the Old Testament and maybe some of the other texts that they have discovered at the time that they wrote this book. So I think for now, kind of doing any theory crafting on that type of stuff using Manetho's book, I think has already been laid out for a lot of people. The only thing being is for me to kind of just line up I guess where Akhenaten would be, and maybe where that is. I kind of want to go back, maybe, because that one's actually a curious one. But see, it doesn't give me a year that they ruled. It doesn't give me the actual date. Let me so we know Ramses II. Okay, so we know let's try we'll kind of pinpoint it using Ramses II. So actually, do I have it up at the top? Let me see what year. If I have this at the top, I know we asked it a while ago. Let me see if I have it in the other chats that we used. Let's see here. Maybe it's in this chat. I don't want to be scrolling around all too much, honestly. This is not very practical, or not what I intended to do. Let's just let's see. What did Akhenaten rule? Because it doesn't give me like Amenhotep the first, second, or third, or like it doesn't denote any of that. It just uses the same name. It doesn't give the generational title. So 1353 to 1336. So this is before Ramses II. So if I pinpoint it, I'm scrolling up right now. Sorry guys, I'm gonna scroll up and go back because I want to like pinpoint this a little bit and see what kind of book that, or what kind of information that they can give me, or like I don't know what we can like kind of look at. So I should have done this earlier. I kind of messed up because now I'm just like kind of scrolling up too much. Okay, so let me pull up this here. We're gonna kind of pinpoint it. So we said over here was Ramses. Oh, darn it! I keep doing that clicking. My bad. Okay, so we have this Ramses for 60 years. So this is gonna be before that. So I'm gonna zoom back. So the first, let's go back to this one. So the first Ramses was in 1292. So jumping back, looks like, I don't know, maybe like 40 years or something like that. So boom, boom, and then Rathos, Ashers. Oh, maybe it's this guy. 1353 to 1336. That's like 20 years. So this one's 30 years. It's the musical statue. And I did kind of overlook that, huh? Oh, maybe. So it's somewhere right here. I don't know which one. Because he's Amenhotep the third, right? Or was he another one? I think it was actually wrong again. I think it was so the 18th dine. Okay, let me go a little bit before real quick. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I keep going back and like kind of ruining this whole thing. Okay, so somewhere right here is Akhenaten. So if I ask it, was he ruling during the deluge of Deucalion, or was he Amenophis or Memnon? Let's see here. To whom the musical statue is erected. Okay, let's see if it does that. It's probably gonna like kind of draw from Manetho a little bit. I'm assuming. Oh, I gotta stretch. Okay. Okay, so it says no. That happened 2 centuries after. So I have to go back. Is this it? Almost? And it was time Moses went out of Egypt. Okay, so the reign of Amenhotep III, this pharaoh, and the Greek says Amenophis ruled 1390 1353. So Amenophis ruled here, and then Horus? What the heck? But it says, okay, as a timeline, both Amenhotep ruled almost 200 years after the deluge of Deucalion. Okay, so interesting. Okay, so Amos, in whose time Moses went out of Egypt, as we shall demonstrate. Okay. Interesting. Okay. And then right here, that is so crazy. Akhenaten is Horus. They called him Horus. Because they're saying Amenophis. They're saying that this right? Known to the Greeks as Amenophis, right? We're looking at it right here. Ruled 1390 to 1353, which looks to be about, I don't know, maybe like give or take like 40 years. Then it says the reign of Akhenaten, which is Amenhotep III's son, ruled for like 30 years again, or maybe like 20 years or so. And then that's okay. All right. So here's where things get intertwined. The musical statue you're referring to is one of two colossal statues as the Colossi of Memnon. These statues are not of Memnon. They are massive seated portraits of Pharaoh Amenhotep III. Why are they called Memnon? The Greeks visiting Egypt hundreds of years later associated the statues with Memnon, a mythical king of Ethiopia who fought and died in the Trojan War. According to the myth, Memnon was the son of Eos, the goddess of the dawn. Okay, so that's why the book is saying here it is supposed that he's to be Memnon. I didn't take that word too literally. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, wow. That is so curious. The musical phenomenon. An earthquake shattered the upper portion of the northern Colossus. Okay, so that's just damage. Memnon. So this was written years after. Oh, dude, I really gotta start I might actually like, I don't know, maybe when I'm like 50 or 60 or something, I gotta like take notes on all this and put all this together, because like, this is weird. Well, it's not weird, it's just like really interesting, you know, like things kind of line up. But it's so weird how they call Akhenaten Horus. Like this is exactly what it's referring to. They're saying Amenhotep III. Right here, this would have been the direct successor, right? There's no way. It lines up perfectly with the dating, right? Yeah, 353, like right here. But then it's saying that this king was Memnon, and that he helped in the Trojan War. But it's interesting because like this Trojan War would have happened after Moses. But then there's all this turmoil going on. So after like Moses left, then there's the Trojan War. Huh. And then comes Akhenaten. Because Akhenaten's like, I don't know. There's like some weird there's like some strange depictions of Akhenaten. But it's interesting how they call him literally Horus in this book. That is so strange. The only reason I would say that is because they have like a stela. They have a stela of him with like a sun ray over it, like with his wife or something like that, Nefertiti, or something like that. But in any case, what does this word say? Does this say Horus? I'm gonna ask it this actually, like after this clip. I wish I could do it right now, but I can't screenshot because I'm using the snipping for like video recording. I know I'm kind of frugal or kind of cheap with it, but whatever, gets the job done. But like, what the heck, dude? What is this? I gotta remember to like search that word up. Oh, that's so. Oh wait, I didn't even read this footer either. Let's read this footer. Cease and Seleucus live everywhere. This and the following three are given as the dynasty of the Ethiopian kings from the river Indus. Isn't that over in India? What the dude? Oh my gosh, what the heck, dude? I mean, like, these are what the ancients were saying, and these ancients were closer to like this history than we are even close to at any point in time. So what people are coming up with now, or like determining now, is only like secondary to what these people had written down first. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so I think I'm gonna end the video here, and then we'll continue. Let me scroll down a little bit more because we went to. This one's interesting too. I'm probably like overlooking all this right now, but one thing I do want to like really emphasize is saying that there was the Exodus, right? And then there was like some sort of, I don't know, catastrophe or something. I don't really know if that's really too important because they have that deluge of Dulicon or some Deucalion or something like that. Anywho, then you have the Trojan War, right? So the Exodus and then the Trojan War and then Akhenaten. But wow, this book kind of like pinpoints the, like a possible like actual like date of the Trojan War. But I don't even know if the like Trojan War is like determined. I know they found the city of Troy, but if they're saying that this is mythological, then that's really like interesting. You know what I mean? Like, wow. Okay, so yeah, we'll leave off right here in the 25th dynasty. I'll just quickly go over this. The 24th dynasty was Bochochorus, and the Sayedi reigned 6 years, in whose reign a sheep spoke. Yeah, that's some weird mythology, whatever. So yeah, that's kind of one thing we'll keep in mind. Is that like you know, there's an Exodus and then the Trojan War, which is really really interesting. Just, you know, what was really going on over there, and then we're gonna get on to the 25th dynasty, which are these Ethiopian kings. Now, one thing I do want to say before we end the video is that the Ethiopians are like I guess they'd be like the sub-Saharan Africans, and then they would be like the older inhabitants of Egypt, and they would be in the mountains, and their ancestors would all stem from, I guess, like the Nubian mountains and stuff like that, and that sort of region is where they say that like these people came out of and survived and whatnot, or came to be into existence from the Upper Nile. So we'll leave off here, and then we'll go over more of that. But yeah, just keep in mind about the stuff that we went over in this video, because it's really really interesting, honestly, putting these like mythologies into like perspective.